This will explain how we're going to do the scatter plot project. So when you open up on the left side shows what you should see. On the right side is my problem that I made my spreadsheet of. So first notice that on the right, it looks like I have 3 different charts. This is really all the same chart. So right here, I started with X and I start with 71, which I typed into my first cell here, and that has kept going down this list. When I got to 30 right here, I just picked up on the next list and just kept going down from there. And so I had 84, 63, 56, and then when I got to the end of that list, I got there 87, 177. So this is really all one long list. They just broke it up into 3 parts, so it didn't go straight down. Okay. And then after I do that, I type in a Y at the top and then typed in my Y values. Now, what's the most important about this is that my X and Y values should be across from each other. So for instance, if I find some random one, this one right here, this is a coordinate point. 63 and 60 need to be beside each other. So if I come over here to my chart, I see, yes, 63 and 60 are in fact beside each other. Okay, so each one of those coordinate points must stay together. All right, so after I've typed in my data, I don't really need this over here anymore, so I'm going to go full screen. Now I'm going to highlight my data, including my X and my Y. I'm going to come over here to Insert, and then Chart. Just going to think about it for a little bit, and then it's going to pop a chart up on my screen. It automatically titles it Y versus X. There's my X values in the bottom, and my Y values here. And of course, I can change those if I have any idea what my X and my Y values actually were. I'm just going to leave them X and Y. All right, so after I have my chart here, we're going to do all the things that we did on our calculator, but we're going to make Google Sheets do it for us. So let's think about what we've done. We've done our equation, our slope-intercept form, and when we did it, we said it was y equals, okay, I'm going to leave a spot, actually, here you go. We're going to come over here, here we go. Y equals, this little box right here is going to be my slope. I'm going to type it in below it. Slope. I'm going to put an X here. Okay. Move my chart over. Move my chart over. There's my X. And here's going to be my plus. Didn't like that. All right. We'll just get rid of the plus. There's my X. And then what do I here? X plus. And then right here, this is my Y intercept. Okay. So this is my equation. We'll come right here, double click that, double click that, double click that. There you go, shrink all those down. So in this box right here, a little border around it. Same thing, a little border. We want it to figure out what's the slope and what's the y-intercept. And to do that, we click inside that little box. So I'm gonna click in the box, I'm gonna hit equals, and I'm gonna type in slope. And when I start to type it in, it gives me this right here. So as soon as I hit the equal sign, it tells me I'm about to do a formula. So then I'm gonna click on slope, and then it tells me what to do. It says data Y. So I'm gonna click and highlight all of the Y values. Notice they all turn orange. I'm gonna hit the comma button, and I'm gonna click and highlight all of my X's and hit enter. And there's my slope. Now it kind of goes off a little bit, so I'm going to come up here, double click, and there we go. Take this box over here and do pretty much the same thing. Equals, I'm going to say Y intercept. Oh, this is intercept. Oh, there we go, intercept. So sorry, INTER, enter. Click on that, it says data Y, so I'm going to click on my Y values, comma, and it says data X's. Click on my X values, hit enter, and there we go. There's my slope intercept form. In our calculator, that first numbers are A, The second one is our B. Okay. Now, we also learned how to do R. Remember we had the R equals. I'm gonna type R equals right there. And R was our correlation coefficient. It told us how strong our correlation was. Now let's look at my scatter plot here for a second because I made it pop up. I haven't done anything with it. It doesn't look like there's a very strong correlation at all. In fact, it looks pretty random, like there's almost no correlation whatsoever. So let's look and see what my R gives me. So in the R box right here, we're going to say equals. And remember, R stands for correlation coefficient, which is really long. So as soon as you start typing in CORR, this pops up. All right, so our correlation coefficient. So we're going to click on that. And just like everything else, it asks for our Y's. So I highlight the Y's, comma, and then it asks for our X's. I highlight the X's, and then I hit enter. All right, now it's giving me a lot of decimal places. That's probably too many decimal places. I'm going to come up here and decrease the number of decimal places to like 2 or 3. There we go. Actually, let's go to 2. It says 0.03. That is like making a 3% on a test. If you make a 3% on a test, you got basically a 0. Maybe you misspelled your name and that was about it. The rest of the test was blank. So clearly this is an example of no correlation. So down here, I'm going to write no correlation. Okay. So there's my slope, my y-intercept, my r, no correlation. Okay. And I have my chart. Now I can actually put that equation on my chart. This is how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to click my chart, move it over here. I'm going to double click on the chart and these options pop up. Okay. So I'm going to come over here to customize. We're going to click on series. Scroll down a little bit. You see down here it says trend line. Trend lines are line of best fit. If I click on it, it pops up a trend line right there in the middle. Now you can change some stuff. You can change what color the line is. You can change the size of the line or anything like that. But for label, you want to come right here. Yours probably defaults to none. Put use equation. Okay, and then it pops up our equation up there, which notice the equation up there is exactly the same as the equation we had over here. All right, so 2 ways of getting our equation. Problem with getting your equation up here is you're locked into whatever equation they give you and you can't use those numbers later on. All right, so there we go. That's everything we're going to do. Now, next thing you're going to do at the very end, down here where it says sheet 1, I'm going to right click on it, rename it example 1. Okay, that was our example problem 1. Hopefully you're following along. Next thing, we're going to hit the plus sign. I'm going to go ahead and rename this one example 2. All right. I'll click this right here, pull it over here, and I'm going to go over to my next problem. There we go. Here's my next problem. All right, so I'm going to click up here, X, enter, and I'm going to type in my X values. My Y values. Okay. I'm going to follow all the same steps I did before, even so much so that I'm going to come right here. I'm going to highlight this here, and I'm going to hit Control C, and that copies it. And I'm going to come over here and find C13 and hit Control V, and that's going to paste it. Okay. Now the numbers aren't right. I got to fix those. But there we go. All right. Now my numbers might actually be pretty close. So let's see here. Let's click on these. Actually, they might already be right. It says my slope is my Y values. Enter. Oop, messed that up. the comma, comma, my X values. And I think that was the same value. So see if I click on it, it's now using my new values and it's automatically changing to those numbers. Double check and make sure yours do, because if you plug more or less numbers in, that'll throw it off and you might have to redo them. But there we go. There's my slope, my y-intercept, and my r equals. Now, my r equals is no longer 0.03. It's now a negative 0.8. So that's not no correlation. Let's see, what does that mean? The negative means that I have a negative correlation, and the 0.81 means it's a pretty strong correlation. All right, well, what about my actual scatter plot? How do I get that back? Well, let's highlight our list, including the X and the Y. We go up to Insert. We're going to go to, where's it, Chart. All right, so there's my chart. I say, okay, yep, I can see how we could draw a line of best fit through there. Let's make it draw a line of best fit. Hit Customize, Series, scroll down, Trend Line. And then where it says Label, let's go ahead and put our equation up there. All right, hit the X on that, maximize my screen, drag that over, make that a little bigger. And there we go. It says XY, I have my chart, I have my slope intercept, my R, my line. The only thing left I need to do is click down here and give a description. So my line is negative and my R is 0.81. Someone will say negative strong correlation. And there we go. That's all I need to do for those two examples. Now you're going to get two problems different than mine too, okay? So you're going to do example 1, example 2, just like I did. And then you're going to click plus sign, all right? Right, click, rename, and then you're going to say problem, and then give me the number. So problem 12, problem 32, problem 17, or sorry, 17, whatever your problem is, okay? You're gonna get two problems, so you need to do that 2 times. So let's say problem 5, or 4, wow, that's another one I'm saying. And then do it again, and then rename problem, let's say I got 18, all right? And so you'll repeat what we did for example 1 and 2 for the 2 problems you have. So in the end, when you turn this in, I should be able to see everything from example 1 and 2 out here, just like it looks on my screen, but then also example or your 2 problems, okay? And once you do that, you can turn it in.